big thing, Dave, I always like to do is when we go live is to figure out when exactly are we live. I think we're live right now. Welcome everybody to the show. Welcome to Digital Asset News Clips, where we take advancements in cryptocurrency and digital assets and try to break it down to bite-sized pieces. And guess who I got today? I finally got the man himself, Digital Dave from Crazy4Cryptos, finally made it into the show. Dave, thanks for coming by.
You're welcome, Rob. Happy to be here. I know we've been chatting for a couple of months about getting on the show, and you probably thought I was trying to avoid you, but I'm a pretty busy guy, which I love. I like doing this. I really like doing interviews. I really do, and I appreciate you having me on here. So,
yeah.
And you said I was one of your top most requested guests, and I appreciate all the people out there that want to see us talk, have a chit chat. And people, yeah, I'm glad that I'm very grateful that there's so many people out there that want to see us have a talk. So appreciate that.
Yeah.
And people, yeah, I'm glad that you're hearing something over there.
No, I'm listening. What you got?
All right. No, I heard some feedback on your side. So yeah, man. So happy, like I said, happy to be here. And hey, if this show is a success, we should do this more often.
I think so. Before we get going, let's talk about the elephant in the room. For some reason, your green screen is broke. I noticed that you do a green screen in every one of your videos. I don't know how big the green screen is because you're able to get entire islands and the sun and people walk through. So is that a green screen right now, or is that just your apartment? Because if it is a green screen, it's the worst green screen of all time. I got to tell you.
It is the ugliest green screen ever, for sure. And it's all wrinkly, too. No, so this is, I'm in my apartment. This is a big old curtain. So the green screen is rather large, actually. It's 35 feet long. It's the world's longest. No, as you know, we're just joking around. The whole green screen thing started, as most viewers know, it started back when I was doing videos on the beach with a selfie stick. And, you know, it's just an amazing, beautiful beach. I mean, one of the top beaches probably in the world, one of the top. Okay. And people were like, that looks so hyper realistic. It's got to be a green screen. And it just kind of caught on after that. And I think it's just kind of funny now.
Yeah, so I just want to get out of the way. So Dave doesn't use a green screen. I don't use a green screen. This is actually a real deal. You might see my dogs walk by, maybe even jump in the pool tonight. So who knows? So let's get down to it. Now, first of all, let me also address the elephant in the room, which is where'd it go? Crypto Zillionaire says, "Where's Guy? Where is Guy?" So the thing is that I invited Guy. He said yes. Dave said yes. The problem is we're all on different time zones. Dave, what time is it over there in Thailand?
8:00 a.m.
It is 7 p.m. my time. And over Guy in the UK, I think it's 2 a.m. So Guy's like, I'm not going to make that. But what we did is he did a pre-recorded session, and we're going to go over his price predictions. And it's interesting to see Guy just do an off-the-cuff, no teleprompter type of thing, which we're going to show in a second. So, Dave, let's get into it, shall we? Let's talk about some price predictions. Oh,
let's do it.
And then also, the reason why we're doing it, me and Dave were talking about this, and I said, this is probably one of my dumbest ideas I've had in a long time, to do a price prediction as we've seen nothing but a huge dive when the crypto market. But then we started to talk about it. And if there's a time when people need to see a little glimmer of hope, a little sliver of sunshine, I think it's these days when everything is going down the tubes and we start to forget about the reason why we got into crypto, why we are long-term investors and holders, and what could potentially lay before us. So I think these are the days that we need the most. And we could have scrapped this, me and Dave, and said, F it, we're just going to do a price prediction when everything's hot and heavy and we'll have a ton of views. But we didn't want to do it. We wanted to come in here and throw some brightness. So let's get into it, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So first up, let me share my screen. And what I want to do, there we go. Let me get this window. And there we are. So I don't want to go over all of these, but I wanted to have Dave on here because a lot of the things that I invest in, Dave invests in. And the reason why Dave invests in those is because I stole them from Dave. Some of these things I would listen to his channel like...
You could say borrow. Borrow's okay.
Borrowed. Yeah, I totally borrowed from him. Definitely Digibyte. Definitely Bitcoin Cash. And definitely Theta and T-Fuel was one of the reasons why I got into it. So I don't want to go over all of them, but there's a couple that I really need to go over, and that's the big two, which is Bitcoin, Ethereum. So let's talk about it. Dave, I got Bitcoin. Gosh, I did a price prediction video on January 7th.
Yeah.
And at that point, Bitcoin was $38,000. And I thought it was doing pretty good. And I was like, I think it's going to 150K. And the probability I thought was a 10, because there's like, you know, you got Max Kaiser thinking it's going to go to 220. You've got Alex Mashinsky saying 160. And you've got other people saying 400K. So I'm like, okay, 150K. If I just look at that, at the fractals and the history, I thought pretty good. And then the all-time high was 63K. Today's price is 29,695. So my end of year is pretty ambitious, 130 to 150K. Dave, what do you think?
I think a little bit lower by the end of year, Rob. I'm thinking under 100,000. Here's the number that just kind of came to me. So I'm thinking 88,000 to 94,000 end of year.
I'll take it.
I'll take it too. I'll take yours. I'll take mine. We're in the same ballpark. So I think a lot of people are saying in the $100,000 realm for Bitcoin end of year. And some people were saying, why not make a price prediction for like the peak of the cycle or whatever. I know this is really just for entertainment, as you always say. And I say these are my investment opinions only. So we're really doing this, don't sell your house to buy crypto. I know some people have actually done that and done well, but don't sell a family member to buy crypto, because you don't know where the market's going to go in the short term. What Rob and I, we are long-term investors, and we essentially know where it's going to go in the future. So really, this is just for entertainment, and I think we're going to go just under 100,000 end of year though.
So Jay says, of course, 88 is the number that came to DD.
Jay, I'm thinking Bitcoin, and 88 came to me. And then, in my Patreon says, Dave, I said, I bet Dave's going to fast for 2 days and meditate for 2 days on these numbers and see what he comes up with. I thought that was hilarious. And it's not far off actually, but I'm thinking 88 to 94 though for that. Yeah, that's very conservative. I like it. It's not all the way out to the moon. It's all the way out, craziness. 88, 94, I'm happy with that, right? So if we shoot high, what's the phrase? If you're going to shoot for the moon, at least you'll end up in the stars, something like that. So yeah, we'll definitely take it. And just like Dave said, this is investment opinion, not investment advice. Another one that I borrowed from Dave as well. And I know like these days, like people are so like, you said the prediction, and I get it. But one thing I can tell you is where I think it's going to go towards the end of the year. I can't tell you the fluctuations along the way. I can't tell you the peaks and valleys. And nobody said it's going to be easy. That's the problem with being an investor. It's just one of those things where it gets harder. And when I first got in, I always thought, man, these people that got in before me, they're so lucky to have got in when Bitcoin was $100 or $1,000. They're so lucky, and they held. Now I realize, and I think we should all realize just how difficult that actually is. Okay, so that is what we got there. Dave, let's take a look at Ethereum. And then once you tell us that, then we're going to get Guy's prediction in here. So Ethereum, it was 1,200 on January 7th. And the reason why I like to talk about these prices, just to remind people where we're at. Also, remember Ethereum in March 2020 during the Black Swan event, it was like $110, $110. And now here we are like 1,700 or whatever it is. So I thought it was going to 10K. The probability was about an 8. The all-time high was 4.3. Today we're at 1,782. And I think because there is just a fascination with DeFi and everything is built on Ethereum, and I know that it's super expensive, but EIP 1559, maybe ETH 2.0 will come out. But I just feel like I just see all the different money being put into Ethereum. So I say maybe 8 to 10K. Dave, what do you got? Yeah, we're in the same ballpark again. I'm thinking $8,000 Ethereum end of year. Yeah. Okay. I think $8,000. Yeah. And just, I believe before, because we kind of adjust we look at the market sentiment and all that. We kind of, and we look at the development too. Ethereum's, pushing, EIP 1559, when's that going to come out? It should have come out, they said last year, they said early this year. And is it going to come out later this year? I mean, maybe.
August. I hear August, between August 4th and August 10th. I hear these numbers, but I've also heard July, and that didn't happen. So what are you gonna do?
That didn't happen. So they're talking next month. Now that would be great, and I hope they push that. Now, what I'm reading though, let me just say this. I don't know how much that's going to affect the gas fees though with Ethereum. I'm reading it's not going to be a big difference in the fees. Well, what have you read about that, Rob?
So as I understood it, when I first read it, I thought it was supposed to really reduce the fees drastically. But then as I read deeper into it, it was all about a redistribution of the fees themselves. And it's not so much that it goes to the actual miners. Now it goes throughout the network. It still could be as expensive because it gets congested because of layer one. And then the miners get, I guess it's called like a tip. So instead of miners getting this big, huge influx, it's like you're tipping your valet. As I see it, I'm like, I don't know how it's going to work if I was an Ethereum miner, because they're making fat bank and now they're not going to make too much. So I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, interesting. So we're kind of on the same wavelength on that too. So, but I still think Ethereum is a very solid investment for people that don't want to get overwhelmed with a bunch of altcoins. You know, most people are going to go into Bitcoin first, and they're probably going to buy Ethereum. A lot of people know what Ethereum is. You know, everybody knows what Bitcoin is. A lot of people know what Ethereum is. So they're going to buy those two coins, the new investors. And some will venture off to buy the altcoins. Some will just play it safe, quote unquote, safe with the big two. So, but Ethereum I think is a solid investment for sure.
Yeah, I mean, everything's built on it. So let's take a step back and get our guy in here, and he can tell us what he thinks. And as you watch this, because we all know Guy as teleprompter guy, and he just reads from it. Great actor, good actor, you know, does this thing. So it was interesting. Like when he sent this over to me, I was like, oh, off the cuff, very nice. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Whoop, burp. There we go. First of all, I'm going to play a segment. Make sure everybody can hear this.
Hi Rob, thanks for having me. I'm sorry I was scheduling issues meant we couldn't do the live stream, but here I am anyway with my price predictions for
getting feedback here, Rob.
Let's get cracking.
Let's
start obviously with Bitcoin. I see BTC somewhere between 80 and 100K by the end of the year. It's still the most adopted coin out there for the time being. And I think for so many people, the vast majority of people, it really is still synonymous with crypto itself. And one area where I think it really crushes all opposition is in the fiat on and off ramps available. I think most people new to crypto are going to find it a whole lot easier to invest their money into Bitcoin. And I don't see that many of them being all that bothered about trying to figure out how to work exchanges and to get into alts. I think BTC is going to attract the vast majority of that new investment. I should say that this price point assumes no ETF. If we do see an ETF, if the SEC pulls its finger out, hint, hint, then I could see the price up around 150K. Now, this does assume that there'll be a bit of front running around 100K. But I think there's also a pretty good chance that whales could try and push the price past 100K in order to get retail traders who sold at that point to FOMO back in. It's going to be pretty interesting to see how that one plays out. Okay.
Okay. First of all, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I had to turn off. It is my microphone. I got to turn it off when that happens. So that was interesting. I never really thought about that when Guy said about the ETF thing. So Dave, you've been in the game for a long time. How long have you been hearing about a Bitcoin ETF?
4 years.
Exactly. And it has not materialized, and everybody talks about it's going to happen. And I think so. I know there was a story about BNY Mellon and the Grayscale Bitcoin group, or Grayscale, got together, and BNY Mellon was going to be like their custody. BNY Mellon's great; they're like one of the oldest banks in the world, and they've done a lot of ETFs. And I think maybe it could happen, but I'm not going to hold my breath. I think maybe an Ethereum ETF at the most, but these days, I've just heard ETF for far too long. I know you've heard it forever. I know people in the comments, so I'm not going to put too much faith in it, but that's what we got. All right.
Yeah.
So Guy said around pretty much what I'm at, 130, maybe 150 if we get an ETF, but kind of in the same range. Dave's on the low side. I'm on the high side. Let's take a listen as far as what we got for Ethereum, and we'll go from there. Let me turn off this.
Let's move on to Ethereum. I see ETH somewhere between 9 and 10K by the end of the year. It's the most adopted crypto apart from Bitcoin. I think the flippening is on. I'm not quite sure when, but I think we are going to see that sooner or later. And look, I mean, it powers half the market, doesn't it? We've got all the dApps, we've got DeFi, we've got stable coins, we've got NFTs. Ethereum, ETH just seems to be everywhere. And an interesting thing that I saw recently, I was watching Gary Gensler's MIT videos, which I really recommend, by the way. And he pointed out that back in 2018, I think it was, Ethereum had around 10 to 15,000 active monthly users. And of course, just recently, Ethereum actually passed Bitcoin in terms of monthly users. And I think that is a really revealing stat. We also, of course, have the question of staking. People are going to be staking a lot of their ETH in 2.0. And I think that is going to be something that's going to attract a lot of long-term investors. And yeah, I see a yield of around kind of 5% at the bottom end of that, which I think is pretty good, especially when compared to anything you'll find in mainstream finance. So yeah, assuming the upward trend continues, I see ETH as a really good way of increasing your wealth over time. And I think, look, the price spread is for a similar reason. 10K is what retail traders have in their sights. It's definitely doable with the IP 1559, but I think we will see some front running of that price point, although we could equally likely blast right through it. Let's move.
All right, sounds good. I'll take it.
That'll work.
That'll work. So here was a good thing that Guy talked about. We didn't even talk about it, was the staking part. And I did a video today about, it was titled, Should I Sell? And it was just because I get so many questions from people and they're not in the best of moods, let's be honest. And they're like, should I sell? Should I sell? And I talked about, these are the factors if you really should sell your crypto. Me personally, I'm not selling because I'm just a long-term investor. I don't need it right now. And I see where things are going. But one of those factors is staking. So Dave, do you stake? What do you stake? I'm guessing T-Fuel, but anything else besides that?
Everything.
No kidding. No kidding. Oh, wow.
Not everything. I stake Theta, T-Fuel, Cardano, Zilliqa. There's some other coins that I'd rather bring up maybe in another video of my own. That I don't want to show you the whole menu, but staking like the main ones that are have a really good yield. Yeah, so 5% yield for Ethereum. Yeah, that's not bad. It's better than what the banks are going to pay anyone.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm glad. Thank you. Somebody said Cosmos. I'm taking Cosmos as well. Cosmos is, I think, a sleeper. It's got about a 13-14% yield if my numbers are, maybe 12% yield for Cosmos. Pretty good. Yeah. I'm glad somebody said Cosmos just now. Yeah. So that's it. I might have left out one or two, but
okay. Polkadot. What's that?
I'm staking Polkadot. Polkadot is so complicated to stake. A lot of people are staking Polkadot on Kraken.
Yes, I am.
And I think it's a 12% yield for that. I'm a purist, and I like to have, control of my own coins. Some people are getting 12% yield there for Polkadot, and they're happy. I'm a purist. I like to have possession though. So,
hey, it takes all kinds. I'm down with that for sure. That's and that's another question I get a lot. Like they're like, Rob, what's the difference between staking with your Cardano stake pool, DNews, or just going to Voyager? Because it's roughly about the same thing, 5.25%. And the thing I always say is, look, if you don't want to deal with it, you can leave it on the exchanges, but you leave yourself open. So you don't know what the exchanges are doing. I mean, they say they're doing one thing, but I know, like with Celsius, I've had Alex Mashinsky on the channel many times, 3 times now. And they do rehypothecate. They do give out your cryptocurrency, but they do it in a very favorable way to like different institutions that have a very good reputation. And usually everything works out pretty well, but you never know. You never know. So do you want to have those private keys, everything in your possession, or do you want to keep it on an exchange? And is it really doing the good thing for decentralization and all that good stuff? So it's really up to you. That's what I always say. Okay. What do we got, Dave? Let's take a look at. Oh, I know the next one. I think this is one of yours. Let me share my screen again. Winda. So out of all these, do you want to talk about Chainlink? Do you own any of that stuff?
Yeah, I bought Link back in 17. That's one of my better buys back then. I've had some crap buys. I've had some good buys back in 17. I'll admit it. Chainlink was a winner. I bought it really cheap, and I still have all of my original Chainlink. I've not sold any Chainlink at all. That's how much I believe in it. Speaking of staking, Chainlink, they've been talking about staking for a long time as well. And some of these projects just take longer than what they say, whatever. But I love Chainlink. I think it's undervalued, and I could say undervalued all day long, but I do think Chainlink's going to go. Well, we're going to talk about price targets. So Chainlink, I believe we're going to go to, I'm thinking $120 for Chainlink end of year. So a little bit more aggressive than yours.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing, price predictions. I mean, everybody says like, these are great, but remember, they're all just, they're our best educated guesses. Chainlink was, I bought a long time ago too. On January 7th, when I did the price prediction, it was $17. I thought it was about $35, and that was like, I feel pretty good about that. And it went to $52 already, and now it's at $13. And I thought, okay, well, if it did that, I believe $75 to $100. Now I've sold some Chainlink, which I talked about today, because that was in my strategy. But Dave, if you think 125, I can definitely see that, because how many other oracles are out there that are dependable like Chainlink?
It's the number one oracle out there, because people were talking about Band and some other coin. And I'm not downsizing or downgrading any other crypto. I just remember all these other competitors came out after Chainlink started, when it moved into the top 10, top 20, and then went to top 10, then it's retraced. And then all these other competitors came out. People were like, why don't you know about this one? This one's done, 250x in the last 7 weeks. I just think that Chainlink is going to be the gold standard for oracles. I think so I think just holding Chainlink is a solid blue chip buy.
Yeah, and
so for the record, I'm thinking 120 for Chainlink. Yeah,
that's pretty good. Yeah, and I actually bought some. I think I bought some yesterday or today. Yeah, I just went back in because it's such a steal right now. I mean, just like they said, it's a steal. So I was like, well, I sold it pretty high. I'll just buy right back in. And yeah, all right, my man. How about let's talk about Cardano. So real quick, Cardano. I mean, I remember buying Cardano at 6 cents, 7 cents when it was almost a meme coin. No one gave it much of a shot. And it was 32 cents on January 7th. I thought it could go to $3, and I felt pretty good about that. Well, it went to $2.52, and today it's only at $1.06. So I'm thinking, I say $5 to $7, but if I really want to be conservative, I'm going to say 3 to 5. Really,
3 to 5. Yeah. Okay.
What do you got, Dave?
Yeah, I'm thinking about $5 to $6 for Cardano. We're in the same realm as well with Cardano. 5 to 6 end of year. Also, for the record, earlier this year, I was thinking a $10 Cardano this year, which could happen. I would rather undershoot it than overshoot it, though. I would rather say $5, and I'm thinking maybe as much as $6.50 is what I'm thinking for Cardano. And if it goes to $9, then people are going to be happier, as opposed if I say it goes to $9 and it goes to $4, and the people are not as happy. So I'd rather undershoot a little bit. So I mean, that's the way to do it, I guess, right? But Cardano is a solid buy as well. I really like Cardano.
Yeah, I think.
When did you buy Cardano at 5, 6 cents? Was it last year? Or back in 17 when there was nothing? When there's only digital air we were buying?
It was digital air. It was like 2018, 2017. And you know what? I bought it back in the day when it was a test net, when you had the Daedalus testnet wallet. And here's a little story for everybody. This is my favorite story, and why I'm always talking about the STONEBOOK and how to make sure that you write down your passphrases and your keys in the right place and don't lose them. I wrote them down somewhere, and I don't know what happened to them in that testnet wallet, and now it's gone. I lost 20,000 ADA from that testnet wallet because I just lost my private keys. I lost them all. I was like, son of a gun. Thankfully, I had actually bought some more after that, so it all kind of worked out. But it's a great lesson, and look in the description below. There's a link to the STONEBOOK, nice little book. I got 2. I got one in my house. I got one in my bank. Just takes it right there. No, the bank's not going to steal it. I know people say the bank's going to steal your crypto. They don't even know what the heck they're doing. So yeah, that's my little lesson. Okay.
Good lesson. Good lesson.
Good lesson. It's a $20,000 lesson, and who knows, in the future it could be $100,000 by the end of this year.
It could be worth even more than that. In a few years, it could be worth a lot. But you don't look at it that way. But see, Rob, you and I, we are pioneers. I call myself, I'm in the lab all the time. I'm experimenting with this because I started experimenting with wallets back in 17. And some of these wallets were in alpha stage, beta stage, and I would lose crypto. I would put crypto in a certain wallet. I think NIM was one of them actually back in that. It was alpha. It was alpha, and just suddenly it didn't work anymore. And maybe I didn't write down my keys or whatever. But I was a newbie at that time. But we're in the lab. You've got a beautiful lab there, by the way.
It's a green screen.
Yes, we get a beautiful green screen. I need to turn mine back on, get the beats going. But that's the price we pay. And then, you're one of the leaders in crypto, and that's why people follow you. So,
well, you're the same way. And you know what? I think you were the first one I heard about for keeping things on cold storage. You said if you don't like to use a Ledger, if you don't like to use a Tezos or a Trezor, you can just use an old computer. And you showed people how to use an old computer, which is offline, to store all your crypto. I'm like, that's brilliant, because that's what people, they have those things laying around all over the place. Anyhow.
Yep.
So let's do this. Let's take a look at Guy's prediction for Cardano. This ought to be interesting, because he's been doing a lot of videos on that lately. So let's all take a listen to what my guy Guy has to say.
Move on to Cardano. I see a price point of between $3 and $5 per ADA. Obviously, Cardano is the biggest crypto out there without a ecosystem, and I believe it is usable similarly to Ethereum. Now, the fact that it's kind of unfinished, if you like, means that I think announcements, any kind of upgrade announcements, development announcements, things like that, are going to have a big effect on the price, but that can cut both ways. And I think if there's any bad news, which I think there could be, I think something could break, even though obviously Cardano is very much geared towards trying to make sure that doesn't happen. I still think we could see bugs and glitches and the odd bit of bad news here and there, which will impact the price. And another thing to consider, obviously, is ADA's massive supply. And now, I know that most of this is staked, but it can be unstaked and sold at any time, which would obviously put selling pressure on ADA. Now, we've seen this already at various dollar points, and I think the same could happen in this case. So $3 is my conservative estimate. $5 is certainly possible, but a bit more of a stretch. Let's move on to Polkadot.
So there we go.
Yeah, you're in the same ballpark as Guy. So cool.
Yeah, I think we're all about there. So $3 to $5.
Yeah.
I mean, if we hit 3 and it goes to like 5 or 6, people will love us. But if I say 10, like some days I think to myself, we could go to 7. But I'm like, if I say 7 and doesn't hit that, people hate me. So that's okay.
Yeah. No, they will. No, I mean, $3 would be fantastic, because if you bought it at $1, and I would say $1 for clean math for Cardano, if you bought it at $1 and it goes to 3, you've tripled your money in 6 months. Yeah. What investor would not like to have those gains? Now, the challenge with crypto investors, a lot of them, a lot of people are gamblers, and a lot of people want money. Yeah. They want 1,000x in 2 months, and it can happen. It happens a lot, especially during alt season. But a lot of people get addicted to that, and they want gains just right away. And but this really is a long-term game. You've been in this game for a while. I have too, and this really, in my opinion, is where the money's being made. I guess I'm going off track a little bit here, but I'd be happy with $3. I think we're gonna go a little bit higher than that, though.
I'll take it, Dave. I'll take it, man. All right, so let's move on. Which one do you want to talk about next out of all these ones we got? So, Guy's going to talk about Polkadot next, but there is Theta. I think we can't just skip Theta.
Yeah, I just learned about Theta a couple of weeks ago. Seems really interesting. No, I'm joking. Yeah, I've been pretty much, some people say I'm a Theta maximalist. That's not a bad label at all. I do try to, what I tell my Patreon members is that I focus on the cryptos that, in my investment opinion, are going to make people the most amount of money, medium term and long term, not necessarily short term. And that's why I'm so focused on Theta and T-Fuel, and they've done fantastic. They've done really, really well. Yeah. Okay, so back to Theta. So let's talk about prices. Okay. Let's talk about first two. Let me go ahead and address the elephant in the green screen. I mean, elephant in the room, because so Theta Mainnet 1 and Theta Mainnet 2, we saw about a 400 to 500% increase in the theta prices, right? Based on those mathematics with 3.0 coming up, I figured we'd probably see, I forgot what I said. I said $15 to $20 theta by mainnet, I believe. I think those are the numbers. I remember my T-Fuel very well. And now what happens is the whole market, the whole market just had a big old rug pull. So when Bitcoin collapses, when Bitcoin goes down in value, it brings everything else down with it. So that's what happened with us. I want to address that. And some people were really disappointed on that short-term call was completely missed. Now, let's talk about medium term, which would be end of year. So I believe that I think they're just going to go to $50 end of year, $50. So yeah, I believe it's going to go so a bit more aggressive than what you've got. You got $30. It looks like. I think it's going to go about $50. Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, I like the fundamentals. I like how they're not competing with YouTube. They're working in conjunction with YouTube. I mean, heck, they even got Steve Chen, who is the creator of YouTube, as one of their advisors. So, and then Google is still one of their validators, right? Their enterprise validators. Correct. So, that's sweet Marion Joseph. I mean, you really can't beat that. So, we'll take. I said it was $2 on January 7th. I thought it'd go to $10. I was wrong. Went to $14, but it went.
How dare you?
Yeah, really did retrace $3, and now we're at. I got it at $30. I just don't see why not. And then there was another one that it's CAA or MAA. I forgot what it is, but that is the
CAA.
Yeah, the studios that deal with all the different Hollywood talent, actors, musicians, and things like that. And when we start talking about NFTs, I mean, shoot, Katy Perry's going to be part of our theta drop. Dave already dropped his NFT, which looked very sweet, I might add, the Theta Warrior. And I mean, we've got that. BitBoy's doing his. You've got, like I said, Katy Perry. Mine comes out in a week or two. So I mean, man, not that we move the market, but I just think Theta definitely does have a lot of room to grow. Okay, makes sense. Dave, what else we got? Celsius, do you do anything with them?
I did a video about Celsius a long time ago, and yeah, so what I focused on that video, Rob, is I talked about keeping your coins there and you're earning 5, 7, 8% interest or whatever, and it's as opposed to keeping your cryptos in a cold storage or on a exchange or in a hot wallet. You can actually earn a yield on your Bitcoin. And there was a lot of interest, and I got a little bit later on. Had mixed feelings about Celsius. Sorry, I'm going off the price targets a little bit, Rob. I kind of like to throw in a little story if it's okay.
Stories are good.
So I was kind of torn. I like, okay, you're giving up your private keys to an entity that they could disappear. I don't think they will. But they could. And I'm being a purist. I kind of stepped back a little bit about Celsius and these others, but then I had chatted with somebody and said, well, some people are really comfortable with that. It's better than a bank. Yeah, maybe it's more trustworthy than a bank. The yield is higher. You have a better asset. You have a real solid asset as opposed to Federal Reserve notes. So I've kind of changed my tune a little bit. Okay, so back to the price target. Celsius has done extremely well. It's done really, really well. I think we might hit $25 in the year for Celsius.
It's pretty good. Yeah, I think, what do I got? I like what they're doing. I like how Alex Mashinsky is so driven for the community. I mean, man, Celsius, $6 on January 7th. I didn't really know where it was going. All-time high was $8. I thought it'd go to 20, and I still think it's going to go to 20 or $30. I will tell you this. James over at Invest Answers, he just interviewed Alex, and I told him, I go, how'd that happen? He goes, I don't know. I was just had a question on Twitter where I was talking about this issue that came up with one of their banks or their liquidity provider or something like that. And he goes, all of a sudden, Alex popped out of the blue and said, hey, I would like to be on your show. And I'm like, yeah, I did the same thing. If you ever want to get Alex Mashinsky on your show, just talk about Celsius in any kind of like odd way. And he's like, I'll answer that. And he's there. He's like that ninja that pops up. It's amazing. So yeah, I'll take that. Okay, what do we got? Stellar. Do you do anything with that? Stellar.
Yeah, I like Stellar. I've been holding Stellar. Do you have Stellar, Rob?
Yep, I do. I bought a ton of it a long time ago. And
okay. Yeah.
What do you got for that?
I'm in the same ballpark as you. I got $2. I think $2.22 is going to be end of year price or near end of year. $2.22 for Stellar, which is about what you're at too.
Okay, perfect. I got the same thing. Before we go on, because I keep getting, the XRP army is out in full force, right? They want to know, since we're going to talk about Stellar, let's talk about XRP right now.
Yeah, sure.
Get out the way. So here's the thing. I think this is what I truly believe. I think Ripple and the SEC are going to settle, because that's usually what the SEC does. They don't really just outright beat you. They just want a bunch of money from you. And it worked okay with EOS, even though they give them a slap on the wrist. I think they're going to pay a fine and they're going to move on. And I think they're going to, because it's going to be so timely and costly, why not? So I think after that's done, that's when XRP could really rocket. But before then, like right now, the price today is 53 cents. So I could see $5 to $8 in no time as soon as this SEC thing is resolved. The question is when. So Dave, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm a little bit more optimistic with XRP, and let me address too about. I believe that because before I said in a YouTube video and in my Patreon, I said XRP would probably be about $3 or $4 by March. Now, what happened? It was actually on that trajectory to go to that, and then the SEC did the rug pull, and then it just all people just panicked. And they sold their XRP, and then Coinbase and all these other American exchanges delisted XRP and just really killed the price. Now that was a big opportunity, but people that were anticipating the $3 or $4 XRP back in the spring, that didn't come to fruition. Some of these, we get rug pulls left and right, and you and I have been in this game for a long time, and we're very familiar with these rug pulls, and they just happen. Now, let's say that SEC, the whole thing is dead and buried and is behind us and all that. I think that we might go I think we might go $15 about. So what did you say? You said
$5.
7. Sorry. I
said $5 to $8 because I'm being very conservative, because I don't know where it's going to go. But yeah. So what do you think? 15?
I think double that, Rob. I think double that. And I put in my Patreon, I put a much higher number. Some people got emotional with it. I think we might go as high as $25 plus by end of year for XRP. I think XRP has the potential. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I think it has the potential to go up to about 50x. That's because we're talking 50 cents and we're talking $25. We have the potential to go at 50x, but I think that conservatively, I think you're going to be right with you said about $7. I think conservative is we'll say between I would say I'm between $10 and $25 kind of in that safe range. If it goes way beyond that, I wouldn't be surprised, but people shouldn't bank on that because we don't know what else could happen. We don't know if SEC could drag on till next year.
We don't know. And there is one thing. Let's say it happens. They beat the SEC. Let's say it's sometime in Q4. Not beat, but they settle, right? Everybody's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Everybody's like, let's just pay some fines and go about our business. Then all of a sudden, all the exchanges start to open up. Now you can buy XRP. The XRP army goes out in full force. And then as we've been hearing about all these CBDCs, the digital dollar, digital yuan, the EU, well, guess what? If you want to talk about walled gardens and then a intermediary between all those things, that's what's going to have to happen. So we might need something like that. And I can see it definitely go by, because God knows Swift is just the worst thing of all time as far as innovation. So I can see it, but it's hey, who knows? I still own XRP. Yeah, I still got Stellar. So hey, why not?
Well, I call XRP the wild card. You don't know what's going to happen. And I tell everybody, if they're not part of the XRP army, which I'm not, I've just looked at of who they're partnering with and all the meetings they go to. I mean, they're talking with, heads of state and all this, and talking with World Economic Forum and all that, right? I look at that, and I'm not part of the XRP army, which they can be very fanatical, or I say enthusiastic is probably a better word. So, if you're enthusiastic about a project, you are.
Hey, there's a fine line, and that's just the truth.
Well, so okay, that's fine. But it's a wild card, and I tell people have it. If you can, everybody's in a different position. But at least I say get at least a couple thousand XRP, just forget about it and don't even follow the news if you don't believe in it. Sock away 2,000 XRP, and it might really pay off for you.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so for the next one, let's bring up our guy, and he's going to talk about Polkadot. I think Polkadot. I always talk about investing in people, and if you're talking about Dr. Gavin Wood, he's part of that Ethereum mafia. Same thing with Charles Hoskinson. They've already done billion-dollar industries, so why not? And I see a lot of different things, and I hear great things. So let's see. I got my prediction. Let's see what Guy's got to go with his. Hold on.
For DOT, I see a price point of between $50 and $100. Now, Polkadot's a bit of a trick because, well, for a start, I think the supply of DOT isn't nearly as equitably distributed as the likes of Bitcoin, Ethereum, or ADA. We also have the kind of fairly big technical and financial barriers to entry for staking on Polkadot. And there's also this fact that a lot of investment is coming from Asia and specifically China. Obviously, we've seen what China's attitude is recently. And now, given how similar Polkadot is to Ethereum 2.0, I think big investors are kind of holding them both as equivalents. The difference between them is Ethereum is kind of robust, it's battle tested, and Polkadot isn't yet. That said, I think Polkadot is going to be well placed to take any overflow money if anything goes wrong with Ethereum 2.0 or if any investors are spooked by it. But because we're not going to see ETH 2.0 rolled out until the end of the year, I kind of feel that Polkadot is going to be basically on standby until then. Okay, and last but not least, we have Solana.
Okay, I will save that to the end. So,
Okay.
Dave, let me just tell you my price prediction real quick, which is Polkadot, it was $10 on January 7th. Hold on, let me bring this up so everybody can see what I see, and I'm not, they're like, this guy's full of it. He didn't install that. Let me go, let's see, window, here we go, price predictions. And here we are. So for Polkadot, man, it was $10 on January 7th. And then on January 7th, I thought, well, it could hit 50. And guess what? It went to almost hit that on April, May, $47. But man, what a retracement, $11. And really, if you look at these prices, Dave, what a steal for all of them. It's like the hugest flash sale. I got 75 to 100. What do you think?
Yeah, we're in the same realm. I've got $85 for Polkadot end of year.
Okay, makes sense.
I got $85. Right? That's only about a 2x from where it is from its all-time high, from its previous all-time high.
Yeah,
it's the way I come up with these numbers. But I think that we're $80 plus for DOT. I think no problem. Okay,
and then let's answer Frank's question right now, which is, and I really should have done this. It's my fault. We gave the theta prediction. Let's do a T fuel real quick, and let me pull that up right here now. So T fuel was my prediction. This is third one down. So the supply is 5.3 billion. All these ones on this side of the equation, I didn't talk about on January 7th because I didn't own them or didn't even talk about them. Mostly I just didn't own them. And I bought T fuel because Dave was talking about it so damn much. I figured I probably should get some of it. And it went up crazy high. It was nothing, and then it went to 67 cents all time high. And today it's at 23 cents, which is still pretty good. But I've got it at $1 to $2 in the year because I just don't know enough about it. So I try to be conservative. Dave, what do we got?
Yeah, I still like T fuel. I still believe it's going to make people a lot of money by end of year and into next year. T fuel is part of the whole ecosystem, and it's also the gas that you have to burn it. People stake it, so it's actually a deflationary crypto and not an inflationary. So I believe T fuel is going to go minimum $3 end of year. Minimum. Yeah.
I'll take it.
And I've had some bigger numbers, and I want to say a little bit. I want to say minimum because if I say 3 to 5, which I was going to say, I'll go and say it now. I'll say 3 to 5, but I think that I say $3 minimum for T fuel. I think would make people a lot of happy. So I really believe it's going to be that. And next year, well, we're talking this year. We can do other stuff if you want for the future, but yeah, $3 plus T fuel.
Okay, I'll take it. Okay, so just to continue on, anything else on this side you want to talk about? I've got Tezos, VeChain, EOS, Uniswap, Voyager, Aave, Bitcoin Cash, and we already talked about XRP. Anything here that's your big on?
Yeah, we have to talk two things, Bitcoin Cash, and we have to talk Voyager, because I have a story about Voyager, which I've never told before.
Ooh, so where do you want story time? Okay, I'll save that for last. For the after this. So
Okay.
Let's talk Bitcoin Cash.
Okay, Bitcoin Cash. In my investment opinion, I believe it's a sleeper, and I believe it's just ready to pop. One day, I think it's going to pop, make people pretty wealthy. Here's my prediction for Bitcoin Cash. I believe Bitcoin Cash is going to go to 4,400 to 4,800 end of year. So we're looking at it possible if these numbers are correct. Again, this is all for entertainment. If these numbers are correct, we're looking at a 10x at least for BCH. And I think you've got 5,000. So we're in the same realm for that too. So you really like Bitcoin Cash too. I mean, I was really surprised to see your 5K for BCH. I mean, that's great. I mean, you see the potential there, but what makes you so bullish on Bitcoin Cash?
The reason is because I believe, and it's the same thing that Kim.com talked about. Kim.com, he was the guy that, created a ton of different websites and file sharing and things like that. And he said, look, the revolution's, well, if you want to call it that, it really just comes down to people want things fast and they want things cheap. And if you can do both of those things, then that's going to win. He goes, do you really think that we're going to use a layer one solution like Bitcoin for currency? No. I mean, we can see it in Lightning, but I mean, we'll see how that works out later on in El Salvador. So if you have Bitcoin Cash and it's being adapted throughout the world, I think, well, why not? First of all, it has a name recognition, Bitcoin Cash, and it still has, I mean, let's just be honest, it's still got Bitcoin.com, which is kind of big. And then people can actually use a layer one solution and make it quickly. Now, as we get to more people using it, and let's just say nations, if they even adopt it, can handle that kind of stress? I don't know, but I can still see 5,000 per Bitcoin Cash because it's, hold on, isn't the supply the same, right? 21 million? Am I wrong?
Same supply, same DNA as Bitcoin. And there's, Rob, I think you explained that very well. There's another thing too that people might overlook is that Bitcoin Cash, when they go to Coinbase, we'll just say Coinbase, which is the biggest exchange. People go to Coinbase, they say, okay, look, Bitcoin is $30,000. I can't buy a full Bitcoin. Of course, you can buy a fraction of Bitcoin. I want to full something. So what a lot of people's going to do or are doing now, they're going to say, okay, I'm going to buy Bitcoin Cash. It's got the same name. It's got a nice green logo. I can buy I could buy 60 of these. I could buy 60 or 70, whatever it is. I could buy more than 2 times of this Bitcoin Cash, and maybe they don't even know what they're buying yet. So I think there's the retail side of it that could look at that and say, I'd rather have several units of this as opposed to 1/10 of a Bitcoin or 1/5 of Bitcoin.
Very true. Very true. You can go on there and be like, because you just don't know. And that's where the mob comes in. So good point. And then finally, DJ Crypto, or buy the dip, sell the tip, my man, comes on and says Voyager story time, and he is correct. So here's what I got. This was my most controversial call I have so far. So Voyager on January 7th was 29 cents. And I looked at it and I thought to myself, why is it 29 cents? Because the max supply is 222 million. It is going to roll out this loyalty program, which it's going through the process. There's going to be a token swap. Why can't it go up? So I thought it could go to $30. It reached $7, and now it's $1.66. And my end of year prediction is still $30. Dave, what do you got?
Yeah, I think my story is more interesting than my price target, but I'm thinking maybe 15 to 20 for Voyager.
I'll take it.
So I think I think it could do really well for what they're doing. So let me give you a little backstory here. So back in 2017, I've been in crypto for a long time, early 2017, but I bought, when they had their ICO, it was called, do you know what it was originally called, Rob?
Ethos?
No, but before Ethos.
I have no idea. What is it?
It was an absolutely horrible name. It was called Bitcoins. So put in the chat, guys and gals, put in the chat if you remember the Bitcoins days. It was such a horrible name. I was like, they've got to change it. And we were calling it, this is for Americans, we were calling it Bizquick, which is the pancake mix. And so it was it was a really horrible name. Then they rebranded to Ethos. And I was like, well, that sounds like Ethereum, and they could do a little bit better job. And then I think they hit it out of the park with Voyager. I think that's a fantastic name. Name is absolutely everything. People don't realize that. Name is everything. I think Voyager is going to do great.
Okay, I'll take it. Yeah, 15 to 20 bucks, anywhere in that realm, I'm good to go. And I have been dollar cost averaging for quite some time, so I'll take it. Okay.
Yeah. Now let me tell you. Let me just say something else about Voyager. I am unable to use Voyager because I was going to put it in the lab and test and all that here. I am unable to use only. Is that right?
Yes. Yes, because you are out of the US.
Yeah. I have I still I'm American, I have my American passport, but the fact that when I download the app onto the phone and it recognizes me that I'm in Thailand, it never, I've tried it twice, it just doesn't function. So I can't really get in there and play around with it, but I like what they're doing. I mean, if they're competing with Coinbase, I'm all for it.
Yeah, oh, exactly. Okay. So that takes care of the first page, which is the most of it, the heavy stuff. Let's move on.
Yep.
And let's talk about any of these you want to talk about. BAT, StormX, we talked about T-Fuel, Avalanche, Silo, Cent, and then we'll get to Guy's Solana if there's anything before that. Anything that you got that you want to talk about?
Yeah, let's talk about BAT. I bought BAT ages ago as well. Yeah, I did. And because I've been a big Brave browser user since the early days, and I still use Brave browser. I think everybody should go to brave.com and download the browser, even if you don't want to get into the crypto. If you don't want to buy the native currency called BAT. So I bought BAT a long time ago. I kind of fell out of love with it. I think they're doing something fantastic. I do think BAT's going to make people some money. And I just saw this morning, actually, and I know that you're a supporter of iTrust Capital. iTrust Capital has incorporated basic attention token into their platform, which I think is really bullish. They carefully select their coins. And I mean, this is, if they select it, doesn't mean it's going to go to the moon. But I think that's another bullish case for a basic attention token. I've got $2.35 in the year for BAT.
Very nice. Oh, that's very nice. It's very close to mine. I'm a little more ambitious. I see $3 because it hit $1.50. So I'm like, why couldn't it go $3? And I think everybody should use, Brave. Okay. And then StormX, T-Fuel, AVAX, Silo, Cent, anything there?
We could talk Solana. Recently I've been researching Solana. I don't like the ticker SOL, but Solana, I think
that's true. I never thought about that. It's a good one. Nice.
I'm actually thinking about putting a position into Solana. But I think Solana, let's see, what have I got the price for that one? But their ecosystem just exploding with their decentralized apps. I think they're going to be really big. Let me see what my target is for that. I got $150 for Solana.
Yeah, that sounds about right. You
got 200. Okay. 200.
I mean, look, it's got 478 million. All-time high was $52. Now it's at 23. So it's only half, which is pretty good for our crappy market we're in. So I think $200. And Solana, I mean, it has huge transactions per second. It's still a layer 1, as I believe. It's not a layer 2, and it pretty much does what Ethereum was supposed to do in the first place. So I'll take it. And I think there's a lot of room for all these things. So that's what I got. Now, this is Guy's last prediction. So let me pull him up and see what he's got, because I totally forgot about this, what he said about this one. Let me share my screen, share a little audio action. And there's Guy. Let me turn up the volume again. And here we go.
Sol, I see a price of $200 to $300 being realistic. Yes, Solana is, it's the only blockchain with speeds comparable to Visa. And I should say that's for regular transactions and smart contract transactions, which is an important thing to remember. It's also attracted a ton of money post-ICO. And I think it's attracting even more than kind of centralized crypto projects like exchanges and custodians. And yeah, we've seen the likes of Alameda Research and Sam Bankman-Fried, really pumping money into Solana, which I think says a lot. And then finally, we've got the fact that the Solana ecosystem is growing and growing and growing. We've got popular dApps like Audius coming out, which I think are real potential disruptors for their centralized equivalents, in this case, Spotify. And yeah, I see Solana as almost certainly a top 5 crypto, and I think it's got a really, really good chance of pipping Binance Smart Chain into 3rd place. Yeah, I am bullish on Solana. Thanks, Rob. I'd love to know what you think. And those are my price predictions for the end of the year. Let's see what happens.
And there is Guy, everybody. Guy making an appearance. So look, if for everybody who follows Coin Bureau, if you like Guy and you like that little format that he did, go to Guy's channel and let him know that we'd like to see him do more of those things where he's just off the cuff. because I think Guy gets a little nervous because he's trying to remember everything that he talks about in his videos, and no one can do that. That's impossible. Guy brings up good points off the cuff. He's good. So me, Dave, and Guy are pretty much the same way. Let's just average it out. $200 for Solana, end of the year. Makes sense. All right, Dave. What do we got next? What do we got?
Solana, that would be a fantastic ROI if it goes 152. I think Guy said as much as 300. I don't know if it go that high or not, but I think Solana is pretty solid. Now, just for people that want to know more about Solana, is that you can stake it. I think it's about a 6 or 7% yield. You can actually stake it in the Exodus.io wallet. Exodus.io. You can stake it right there, hassle-free. So.
Perfect.
Yep.
That's
more passive income, Rob.
Oh, you're making it easy. Yeah. Okay. And then to round it all off, my friend, we've got any of these ones you want to talk about? Polygon, Swissborg, IOTA, BTT, Filecoin, Mana, and Digibyte. Any of those?
Yeah. Let's see. So Mana. God, I almost bought. Decentraland a long time ago. I think it's great what they're doing with the virtual reality, and I'm sure they're going to be NFTs and all that too. I never did get into it. I think it's great though. People, when they go, they show me their portfolio when I do reviews. When they have Mana, I never tell them to sell us. They just hang on to it. I think it's, unless they had like 80% in Decentraland, but I say just keep it. I think it's going to do okay. Now people, they will absolutely slay me if I don't talk about Digibyte. So we got to talk about Digibyte.
Yeah, you better talk about it. That's true.
There's an army too. There's the XRP army. There's also the Digibyte army. I'm not sure what they call themselves, but they're very passionate as well. And I got into Digibyte a long time ago, and his performance it's okay. If you look at the performance of Digibyte for this year, I believe it's still outperformed Bitcoin. DigiBees. Okay. I like that, DigiBeat. I think it's still outperformed Bitcoin. I believe that Digibyte is, let me go and give my price target. I still love Digibyte, by the way. I still love it. It is the most secure blockchain out there, proof of work blockchain with its 5 mining algos. So I do think one day it's going to pop. When is it going to pop? I have no idea, but I think we're talking maybe about 25, 35 cents in a year for Digibyte. And I think you've got 25 cents for Digibyte. You got a few dogs barking.
Yeah, I got these guys. Hold on, let me mute this. Okay, maybe they're done. All right, so I'll say this real quick. Digibyte, I got it at a quarter.
Yeah, you got a quarter. Okay. I think we'll be in that realm. Yeah.
It never fails. All right. So then off of that one, what else we got? The last, to round this all off, Digibyte, thanks for talking about that. BTT, IOTA, Swissborg, Polygon, any of those? Because I kind of picked those up at the end, and that was pretty much about it.
I don't know enough about a lot of these. I did buy IOTA a long time ago. I fell out of love with it and sold it. And I think IOTA is great. I think it's fantastic. And your dog agrees as well. BitTorrent, is BitTorrent an S coin or not? I don't know. But some of these little penny coins can make people a lot of money. They can or they cannot. I'm not saying they will. BitTorrent could see, maybe a penny or two at the end of the year.
I'll take that. Yeah, I'll take BitTorrent like that.
I couldn't really tell you too much about it though. I just know what these small penny coins can do sometimes. So it's not really my forte would be BitTorrent, but IOTA I think is great. I think that's about it. I don't want to just throw random numbers out as projects I don't know too much about, because you got MELD and WMT. I don't know about those.
Yeah, I don't really know. And then the last thing I'll talk about is my two sleepers, MELD and World Mobile Token. On this channel, guys, for everybody who's watching at home, I did a deep dive into MELD and World Mobile, and you can check those out. I don't know where they're going to go, but they look very promising. MELD is one of those projects that is going to be built on the Cardano ecosystem or on the Cardano blockchain, and they promise it's crazy, to pay the principal of the loan while you pay back the actual interest only. And the way that they do that is that you put it on there, and then they put it into their stake pool, and then you get the rewards through Meld and all these things, and it actually pays for it. I explain a lot better in the video, I'll tell you that. And then World Mobile Token, also built on the Cardano blockchain, and they're going into sub-Saharan Africa. They've already done this in a couple different places, Tanzania being one of them, where they're going to put telecommunications internet service, and then also through the blockchain by doing it two ways. One, they build the infrastructure by giving all the people the solar panels and also the mesh pods to give them throughout the village so they can actually have communications. And then two, they use the World Mobile Token built on Cardano blockchain for their digital ID, for their finances, and to just bring the whole blockchain together for all the things they need for those types of services. So those are the two big sleepers, and that is a lot of stuff we went over, Dave. We took a whole hour to do all this.
We did. We did. That was fun. That was great.
Yeah, but that's my limit right there. I got an hour, and that's pretty good.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to see. Too bad that Guy couldn't make it live here. It's probably wee hours in the morning for him, but it was good to see his pre-recorded video. And there's a lot of Guy fans out there. He's got a huge channel, 1.1, maybe close to 1.2 million followers.
Yep.
And good to see him on there. Yeah, absolutely. Good to get his opinions.
Exactly. And then for everybody who doesn't know Digital Dave, you can find him at crazy4cryptos.com. Also, on every video that I do, I have a list of YouTubers I listen to almost every day. And Dave is one of the 8. So if you're looking for the link to his channel, just scroll down the description. You'll find it right there. Or just search Crazy4Cryptos, and you'll find his YouTube channel. Dave, that is it for today, man. I want to say thanks for coming by. That was awesome.
You're very welcome. That was a lot of fun. I appreciate you having me on, Rob.
All right, I'm going to end the broadcast. Dave, stick around. We'll talk real quick. Bye, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. Like and subscribe, all that great stuff. Adioso.
Okay, bye-bye.